Okay, now I'm repeating again the wrong entry posting. How we treat if any wrong entry happens during the month. In a case, the mismatch is not because is not a business issue. It is a process or master data issue. So you need to reclassify the entry. Reclassify means I already discussed the reclassification in our earlier session. During the reclassification, we need to move the GLs, company codes, or cost centers. So how we make a correction journal here to correct the company code or wrong entity code posting during the month end. We will pass a reclassification journal and move the company code to the appropriate company code. Okay. And top MNCs like candidate who don't just fix the errors but also think about prevention. Prevention means you already know. We also have a better quote here. Prevention is better than cure. So MNCs like that candidate who not only work on errors, who also think about the prevention. So always mention during the interview, you would also inform the control, ownership, review. These are the major point of views here. If you are explaining controls or you are talking about controls and ownership and reviewer point of view, it will show your maturity or your understanding of the logics. Okay. And we also see another type of mismatch here, and this is manual error. If the difference happens because of a transpose amount or manual entry mistake, it would how you treat it? You need to reverse it. Means you need to reverse the wrong entry and then pass a correct journal entry. If there are any manual error, amount error. Okay, but during the interview, you would not stop. You would not stop here. Means only for the manual error, you just explain that we need to reverse and post the correct journal. It's not a stopping point here. You also need to explain. How you explain? I would also think about prevention. For example, I would suggest 2% review, means 2-level review, validation checks, and better tracker discipline to prevent the manual errors. Clear? Means during the interview, instead of saying just we reverse the wrong entry and post the correct entry, you also need to say, I suggest or I think about the prevention point of view as well. I suggest or in my process, I have a 2% review. I create a validation check to prevent this error, and I have a tracker discipline, means we maintain a tracker where we have the clear checkpoints to avoid these manual errors. Okay. Now let's understand the intercompany in respect of top MNCs. I'm explaining the quick logics here. If I talk about different top MNCs, so different MNCs have a different tool environment. Tool environment means to manage the intercompany, they have the different tools. Which company have what tools? I am giving the basic understanding here. For example, in Genpact, you may see SAP and Blackline to manage the intercompany. Along with SAP and Blackline, they have the strong tracker ownership, means Excel trackers. In Accenture, you see the Oracle, print tech as a in place of black line tool, and may be part of the process along with the standardization and documentation rigor. So when you answer in interview, mention the tools and the process discipline that creates immediate credibility. And if I talk about in WNS, you may see SAP, Excel tracker, and a strong focus on reconciliation cadence and root cause analysis as well. And if I talk about EXL maintain cadency for group reporting, cadency style workflow and standardization template means the Excel or basics are remain same, everything. Only the tools may be different. And what is the tools? Uh, Even they are using SAP or Oracle as a ERP, and to maintain the reconciliation and a month end, someone using Blackline, another using Cadency, and another company using SAP group reporting tool. Okay, but what is the common thing? The common expectations is the same. You must show that what is the common things? Common things, the transactions, the transaction flow, the Excel trackers, the way of working, the way of posting journal entries, the way of finding mismatches and correcting that mismatch. Okay, all these things are remain same. Clear? If I talk about TCS, Wipro, Infosys, so Wipro, Infosys, TCS, they have the SAP FICO and intercompany modules separately. So during the interview, you want to show if you understand the transaction flow in these tools, you can explain easily. Or even if you haven't any exposure, you need to show the basic logics, the journal logic, and the support consolidation process, how you post the journals, how you consolidate the books. Okay, so if you have hands-on, say it clearly, or if even you don't have any exposure, still show basic understanding and willingness to learn. That is better than vague silence. Hope you are trying to understand what I'm saying here. If you have the basic exposure of SAP FICO or intercompany module, you can clearly explain. But if you don't have the basic exposure, you still need to show the basic understanding and willingness to learn. That is better than vague silence during the interview. Clear? So we understand the different top MNCs expectations or current status. Now move towards the most important thing, top 10 interview questions from ICO background. ICO background means from intercompany perspective. You can clearly see on your screen. These are the common questions asked during the interviews. What is intercompany accounting? You can easily explain as a definition. Why it is important? We initially explain in our first, second, third slide. How do you handle mismatches? We see a lot of mismatches like timing variance, FX rate, manual error, company code posting means wrong GL posting. Another question, FX impact, how FX rate, any foreign exchange rate impact the evaluation during the month end. When you need to accrue, we also understand during the timing variance when you need to accrue. Okay. And how do you use trackers? Very important. Intercompany trackers to highlight the things, to track the checkpoints, to track the controls. Clear? And why you what is your escalation path? That is very important. Escalation path means when you need to escalate anything and why. I think I already discussed escalation in our earlier session. So I'm explaining again a bit here. Escalation means if we are not getting the appropriate response from the counterpart, we need to escalate the thing with the higher authority, means with the manager, senior manager, or AVP level. But every time escalation don't work, we need to escalate very thoughtfully. That's why during the interview, most of the time this question asked, and it's not only for intercompany, it works entire workflow, entire R2R, entire finance. What is your escalation path? It is very common or very important question. You can also read this for the different domains. Means for the AP point of view, point may be differ. AR point of view, point may be differ. R2R point of view, the point may be differ. But the escalation path exists in every domain. Clear? And another thing, what controls prevent errors? What type of controls prevent the errors? You can say, I maintain Excel tracker. I have the clear checkpoints to check the manual errors, to check the GL codings, to check the timing variances, to check the FX rate variances. Clear? Means in Excel tracker, you have the various categories and various checkpoints. So before posting, during the consolidation, you need to check all the things. And one more important question, how does consolidation change the numbers? During consolidation, how numbers are changes. So don't answer these as a definition. I explain all these things in details with example. Even we have a quick interrupt during the session, but I try to explain all these things with example. So during the interview, most of the people made the mistake. They explain these questions like as definition, as they are reading from book, as they are understand by ChatGPT using AI, but you need to explain with example, with impact, and with ownership. Clear? I have few more slides to discuss with you, and I think our earlier participants already understand about it. Star answer bank. What is star methodology? Star method. I explained many times. Use star here means situation, task, action, and result. Whenever you explain the questions, always use star for I can say behavioral questions. If there is a mismatch, explain when it happened, what your responsibility was, and what action you took, and what result you achieve. This is clearly state, situation, task, action, and result. Interviewers remember structured answers much more than long explanations. So always try to structure your answers. Keep your answer scripts logical and complete. Clear? And one more important thing here. Whenever you explain journal entry during the interview, how you explain? First say what happened. Whenever you explain the journal entry, whatever you are seeing on your screen, you can clearly understand the scenario. There are few steps involved. First, always say what happened. Second, say which account were affected. Third, the debit and credits, and then explain the why. Means why you are preparing or why you are posting this journal. For example, if we are going to record a 50K intercompany service expenses, I debit service expenses and credit intercompany payables. This follows the matching principle because the services was received in the period. I'm repeating the example again. If you are going to post a 50K intercompany service expenses, how you explain? This is the scenario, means this is the situation. And situation is you need to post a 50K intercompany service expense. Now, action start. I debit service expenses and credit intercompany payable. This follows a matching principle because the service was received in the period. This answer is very short, crisp, clear, and complete. This answer sound strong because it combined business event, accounting treatment, and principle as well. So as this way, you need to explain the answers during the interview. Okay. One more important point or one more important explanation. Today I'm explaining all things practically, uh, as it is as interviewers expect. If you try to explain or understand these things as is, or explain in your own words, including the basics, means the situation, the action, the task, accounting principles, and the logics behind the task, you will be able to demonstrate the interview. Okay. One more important point here. How you explain root cause. And what is root cause? Whenever we see any discrepancy, any missing, a mismatch, any error, we need to do the root cause analysis behind it. How you explain it during the interview? When you explain root cause, start with the symptom. How? I will explain. First, clearly, I'm explaining the root cause. Always start with symptom, then explain how you investigate, and then explain what is the issue was, means what you find out, and then explain how you fix it. Clear? Means there are the clear steps. For example, if a mismatch come from approval delay, this is the symptoms, this is the scenario. You say that the invoice was sent on one date but approval received later, which create a timing issue. Then explain the accrual and tracker update. Means if I want to complete this example here, there is a mismatch due to timing error, a timing mismatch. So how you need to explain? Initially say that the invoice was sent on the separate date, means we can say the invoice was sent on 31st March, but the approval received later on 5th April, which create a timing issue. So I create a accrual journal at the month end and post it. This is the action. And after that, this is the part of your root cause. I post the accrual, I inform the counterpart, maintain it into the tracker, and after happening the actual posting, I reverse the accrual. This is the way of explaining. Clear? This is exactly how top MNC want you think. You think about situation, analysis, root cause, and how to fix. Clear? Another thing, And one more important example, how you explain consolidation impact. Consolidation means whenever you consolidate the group books, how you explain it during the interview. If interviewer asks this question, whenever there is an internal sales, try to understand what I am saying. Whenever there is an internal sale or intercompany balances, you must explain how it affect group reporting. At the entity level, both sides may record revenue or expenses. One side revenue and one side expenses. But at consolidation, those internal balances must be eliminated so the group doesn't show inflated performance. Clear? Understand again. A entity in both entity level records may be clear. One entity have revenue, one entity have expenses. But when we are consolidating the books, we need to eliminate it. Why need to eliminate it? Because during the group consolidation, all intercompany effects should be nil. If it doesn't nil, it will inflate the performance. It will make the duplicate risk. So from the interview perspective, always say it like this. Without elimination, revenue and expenses are overstated. Means if the transactions happen within the group, one side revenue, one side expenses, or if we don't eliminate it, it will duplicate or it will overstate the expenses and revenue both. So with the elimination, the consolidated financial reflect only external transactions. Whenever you are doing any transaction with any external party, that transaction only should be reflected in group books. We can say in consolidated books. Clear? I also plan a live exercise for today, but we already spent a lot of time. So I'm giving you a homework today. You can see on your screen, there are few intercompany transactions. And before reading, I am explaining the few things. Okay, I am also sharing few things with you. Only with those people who are currently in the session. I'm sharing a message. I'm sharing few files in the chat box. Okay, I will share towards end of the session. Let's understand here what I will share. I think we will do this live, but we haven't enough time. So I am giving you as a homework, or how you need to solve it, or how you need to understand it. Let me explain. You need to explain what causes the mismatch and what entry is needed and what should be the communicated what should be the communication to the counterpart, means to the another entity. There is three way. First, you need to find out the type of mismatch. Then you need to create a journal based on the scenario or based on the mismatch type. Or then you need to share an email with the counterpart for that situation. There are three actions required. And you can see the exercise data set on your slide, on your screen. And I also share with you in an Excel tracker. Okay. And let's understand The model answer of this, how you solve it. Even you have the solution, but you try to solve it by self. And this is the model solution, how you solve it. This rubric is very useful because it shows how interview performance should be judged. Clarity matters. Root cause analysis matters. Corrective actions matters, and stakeholder handling also matters. And during the consolidation, your awareness also matter. So this is the solution of previous slide. Clear? And I also start sharing the recording. I will also share the recording. You can also refer the recording. I will also share the Excel tracker. You can see it. Okay. And before closing our session for the day, okay, we already explained this. What are the takeaway pack from today's session? We have very limited time, but I try to give you few practical things here. Whatever we have discussed today, what type of mismatch exists in intercompany, how you categorize them, and how you post the journal entry for these. You have all the things, and I will let me share the things with you before closing the session. Okay, I will share all these things, and the very important thing you can see on your slide. Next session, next Sunday, we will move to our session 15, where we will focus on month-end close excellence, reporting, and KPI thinking. We will cover what top MNCs expect during the month-end close, how to talk about reporting packs, how to explain variance analysis, and how to speak confidently about SLA, TAT. And what is TAT? TAT means turn around time, and quality metrics. So I want to close with this thought. Month-end close is not just completing tasks. It is about accuracy, timeliness, control, and business confidence. If today help you understand intercompany better, next session will help you think like a real close owner. So don't miss next Sunday. Stay consistent, keep practicing, and keep building your confidence. Okay. So now I am stop sharing my screen and now focus on chat. I'm going to attach few documents here, few practical things. You can see all the things. Just let me share few files. There is a PDF named Session 14 Takeaway Pack. You can understand the complete flow by this. And one another thing, there are few Excel trackers. I am trying to paste all these things into the chat. Module solution, tracker, mock interview rubric, Excel data set. which you see on your screen earlier. I have pasted these 4 Excels. One more thing I need to paste here, the takeaway pack PDF. And this is this one.
ఎక్కడ వస్తున్నారు ఈ పీడిఎఫ్స్?
Please find the below. I just sent to all. There are 4 trackers. Module solution. You need to use module solution after completing your assessment, after completing your homework. First, you see the takeaway, read it carefully, then use Excel data, mock interview rubric, tracker, and the informations already stated in the session 14 takeaway. Okay. And there is also a practical scenario. I already have this here. If I want to show you a bit, even we are going to close our session, just I want to show you a few things. If you guys want to see, I think my screen is now visible. This is a session 14 takeaway pack. What is in this chat sheet, which you are seeing currently? Accruals. What is the rules of accruals? FX evaluation. Eliminations. During the elimination, how you need to treat the journal entries. If there are any wrong entity posting, how you correct it. Evidence checklist. And there is also a data set. What's happening?
Model solutions, FX variance,
Yeah.
posting timing
Then
different,
model solution,
error.
how to resolve it step by step. And what are the 3 steps I already mentioned? First, you need to categorize the mismatch type, then post the journal entry, and then show the resolution. During the elimination, what you need to take the actions. Here is the detailed explanation. Okay. And I also give you an example of email, counterpart email, how you need to inform to the counterpart. Okay. And this is your homework. That's why I am sharing this here. Reconcile 20 row sample, whatever rows may be different. ICO practical pack, you already have the Excel tracker, and try to submit these till Wednesday. I will also check. If you are seriously working, share it with me, and how you share it. And there are many other things here for next session. And the raffle prize for the next session I also have, you can read it. Okay. If you will complete your homework within the timeline, accurately, perfectly, I will give you a participant I will give a chance to a participant, a single participant only for a 101 of 30 minutes. And here are a few interview tips as well. And how you share? You share your homework or your assessment on this email ID to me, arcmentorship18@gmail.com. And here is, I think, yeah, it's our website link. You can also check our website, visit, even it's under processing, under maintenance, but most of the things are working. Okay, so that's your assessment for the day. You complete this assessment, and I will give you a chance of 30-minute 101 as a mock interview practice. Any one of the live participant of from the next session. But only with only for those. This offer is only for those people who are attending live sessions and complete the